thank you for choosing to be here today. And the message is titled, Share the Dream, but it goes with our monthly theme of going further. So I really want to take this opportunity for us to go a little deeper and a little further in our experience individually, as well as collectively. So the title is Share the Dream. So I want to start off with asking you, how many of you have ever had a dream where the first thing you wanted to do was to call somebody and tell them about this weird dream you had, right? Exactly. Or, it was one of those, whenever you have one of those dreams, there's an urge within us to want to understand what was that all about, right? So the first thing I want to do is, start off, when you hear the word dream, how do you really define it? And so I want you to stop. I want to offer a couple of different ideas. So a dream can be, I had to go to Google to see what Google said, right? So Google had multiple definitions for a dream. So I want to share a couple of them with you. A series of thoughts, images, and sensations occurring in a person's mind during sleep. Another one was a cherished aspiration, ambition, or ideal. We've all heard the I Have a Dream speech by Martin Luther King. So it was an ideal that he wanted the world to experience. But I want to start off talking about a dream from the first perspective as a series of thoughts and images and sensations occurring in one's mind. So I want you to hold on to what does a dream really mean to you? And we're going to discuss that a little bit later. So when I think of a dream as an image or a sensation while I'm asleep, what does that dream mean? I have dream books. I have a dream journal, because my personal belief is that dreams are an opportunity for the unseen that's happening in the spiritual world to come into my consciousness, my mind, in this material world. The Egyptians, the Romans, and the Greeks put real emphasis on healing through dreams. So if we stop and think about the power of a dream, that in and of itself gives us an opportunity to know that we can go deeper and we can go further. Did you know that by the time you're 56 years old, you've spent 17 years in the sleep state? I mean, just think about that. That's a lifetime, right? Well, not quite a lifetime, but it could be, right? It's a long time for us to be in this dream state. We dream 3 to 5 dreams every night. So for the sake of this conversation, I want us to think of the dreams that we have while we're asleep is an opportunity for the mind to be reignited. Dreams are an experience that involve a part of the mind that is not engaged in our conscious state, in our waking state. Dreams can have multiple purposes and meanings. Sometimes a dream is just for us processing what happened during the course of the day. Sometimes a dream can be more lofty and have its sublime meanings. And when I say sublime meanings, I mean something of spiritual maturity and essence. So when we think of the dream world, I want us to think of it as the spiritual world. And we have the opportunity to look at our dream state, our dream world, as the unseen, giving us an opportunity to allow it to come into the seen, the material world. It's like we're in a different world when we are asleep. I don't know about you, but I've had some dreams that have been so real that I just said, okay, what in the world? And have you ever had a dream and you just wanted to just slap yourself and wake up? It's like, okay, this is too real. I know this is not real. I know this is not real. I want to wake myself up, right? So that is the power of the dreams that we have. So if we really stop and think about the spiritual world and the unconscious mind that is within us, in our subconscious, the sleep state is an opportunity for us to reconnect with the spiritual world and bring it into the material world. Ernest Holmes has a quote that says, "Our internal state of mind influences those around us. We are each spiritual broadcasting stations." And so when we exhibit our healing energy through our healing dreams, by merging the two together, we are unifying the spiritual truth of all. We are doing our part in healing. This is being proven as well in the medical sphere, where doctors are tuning into themselves and with their patients and drawing on the ancient wisdom of dreams, allowing us to be healed. I want to share a recent experience. A friend of mine actually had a heart attack, right? Now, initially, she didn't think anything of it as a heart attack. She was sick. She was throwing up. And then she started having heart palpitations. And so finally, some friends of ours, we said, well, wait a minute. We're taking you to the hospital. You're having heart palpitations, right? She says, no, I think it was just a dream. I wasn't really having any heart. No, we're taking you to the hospital, because it was an opportunity for her to come to the realization that this physical world, when I woke up, I thought I was okay. But then the heart palpitations brought it to the realization of something happening in the material world. We get her to the hospital. And when we get her to the hospital, the nurse and doctor said, oh, you're having a heart attack. And she went, oh no. Get her into the room. She's all freaking out that she's having a heart attack. And the doctor says, I need you to calm down and work with me so that together we can allow you to be okay. But I need you, your mind, and your heart to settle down, because we can do this together. She was able to calm down. But what I want to bring together is the spiritual world. When she woke up from the dream, when she woke up from her night's sleep, initially she just thought she wasn't feeling well, that it was all just a dream. But when the reality of the merging of what's happening to her physically came forth, she was able to call on the spiritual truth of her being and merge it with what was happening in the physical. So what I would like for us to recognize is that sometimes things are revealed to us in our sleep that allow us to merge the spiritual and the physical world together. There's a biblical story between Elijah and Elisha where it speaks to the calling and intuition, a dream. So that intuition that is within us was referred to as a dream. So here, what we want to do is to stop and think about how the merging of the spiritual and the divine world is an opportunity for us to transmit light. As Ernest Holmes said, we are broadcasting stations. So what are we broadcasting in our sleep world? What are we broadcasting in the material world? If we merge the two together, we truly are the beams of light, and we are beaming out the light of God. And these series of thoughts change the sensations from our dreams. We bring them into the physical. Our minds are combining the unconscious, the spiritual world, with the conscious world. So now if I stop and I look at dreams, I want us to look at it now from a little different perspective versus when we are asleep. I want us to look at that dream state as our aspirations and our ideals for what we want to experience differently in our lives. When we look at it from this particular opportunity, a dream from our sleep state, now we want to take that experience and bring it into the material world. One of my teachers in the past said, if there's something that you desire to happen before you go to sleep, put that into your subconscious mind. Because at that point, your mind and your body is able to settle into that thought. Remember, dreams are a series of thoughts and sensations. So what is it that you want to experience in the material world? I have an opportunity to put it into the spiritual world before I go to sleep. And now I'm able to merge the spiritual and the material together. So I want us to stop and think about the word dream. The word dream, D-R-E-A-M. So if we look at merging the spiritual and the material, dream represents divine revelations expressing authentic merging. So if I look at the dream as something that I have an aspiration that I have, I'm going to put it into the spiritual world, and the spiritual world is going to give it back to me. And now the dream is a divine revelation that I am able to express in the material world, because my authentic self is aware that I am both spiritual and material, and I am merging the two so that my higher self, my authentic self, my divine self is experiencing the merge of my dream. So if we want to have that divine revelation, we have to consciously choose to tap into the spiritual world. I have to consciously choose to utilize my spiritual tools in order for me to have what it is I desire here in the material world. So I want to ask you, how many of you have spiritual journals? Do I see any hands going up? Okay. If not, I'd like to suggest that you start a dream journal. Journals are very wonderful spiritual tools because it allows our thoughts for us to see what are we thinking. Because we know that our thoughts are things. It is an energy that is in back of it all. So I can take that energy of thought and plant it into the spiritual world. And now that I plant it into the spiritual world, I can then bring it into the material world. And then I can share my dreams. I can share my divine revelations by expressing the authentic divine self that I am, because I've merged the two. So when we talk about this dream as a divine revelation expressing authentically, I'm able to then manifest what it is that I desire, because I'm choosing my series of thoughts. I am creating the images and the sensations that I desire, that aspiration that comes from within, and I'm able to express it without. It's interesting how we are able to tap into the subconscious via dreams and or via our thoughts to create a reality that we desire to experience. It's interesting when we look at dreams as a cherished aspiration and ambition. I am originally from Ohio, and I wanted to have a different experience. So I moved to Atlanta. I knew that job opportunities would show up for me. But when I moved to Atlanta, I only had one interview, right? But it was an aspiration. It was a goal to move to Atlanta, right? So I did it, and I stepped out on faith because I had joined my conscious mind with my subconscious mind, and I used my spiritual tools of prayer and manifest, and I was able to manifest a job because I had created this image of where I wanted to be. And I took the material world and merged the spiritual world in order to experience what it is that I wanted to experience. So I had a divine revelation that I wanted to express my authentic self. I always wanted to live by the ocean. I had dreams. Here we go. I had dreams of living by the ocean. So I had a divine revelation that I wanted to express, having an experience of living somewhere by the ocean. So therefore, I moved to none other than Jacksonville. I allowed my divine revelation to merge with the material world and have the experience that I wanted to experience. That is the power of our spiritual tools. That is the power of our mind. It allows us to tap into the spirit world through our subconscious mind, utilizing dreams as a tool to create the life that we desire. So I ask you, what dream, what vision do you have for your life? Reverend Elizabeth mentioned earlier that we are here to support you in the desires that you have for your life. And one of the things that we have discussed is maybe we do a visioning session and a vision board and come together, because we are here, Centers for Spiritual Living of Jacksonville, to connect and to create the life that we desire for ourselves. The Science of Mind textbook says you must begin with an image, not as an illusion, but as a reality, not as a dream, but as an experience. And as we have spent our time together today, we see that the dream is a divine revelation, and it consists of our thoughts, our images, and our sensations. And it starts in the mind. So let us feel the sensations of what it is that we want to experience. Let's feel the sensation of creating something new. It is important for us to feel the purposes of our lives and be inspired by the divine. So it is important for us to dream the dreams, and then share the dream with everyone that we come in contact, because we are broadcasting stations. May we broadcast love. May we broadcast hope. May we broadcast joy. May we broadcast love, because we are the broadcasting stations, utilizing dreams, our divine revelations, expressing. And so it is.